Hey hatchlings, it's DragonFeather and welcome back to my channel. On today's episode of Witchy Crafting, I'll be showing you guys how to make these mini spell books. So in order to make these little mini spell books, you will need blank white computer paper. That goes in a printer, you know. You will need a cloth or fabric. I'm using white towels. You will need a tray. It can be plastic or it can be a metal cooking pan. You will need some rags. I'm using 3 of them. You will need a hair dryer, but be careful, don't get it wet. You will need a needle and some thread of your choice. You will need scissors to cut some things. You will need acrylic paint to paint the cover and decorate. You will need a paintbrush and a pen. And you're going to want 2 cups of tea, 2 spots of tea. And you'll need a button and whatever other charms or decorations you want to put on it. So first we're going to fold the paper and make the paper to the size of the pages that we want. Fold the page in half and tear it down the middle. Repeat the process with the smaller bits, folding them in half and creating a crease so you can tear it along the middle. You can also cut the pages if you'd like. And fold it in half one more time, tear it apart. And then you're going to take that piece of paper and fold it in half again, except this time you are not going to tear it apart. You're going to keep it as is, and that will be the size of your pages. Make bundles of 3 so you can stitch pages in 3 at a time, and you can make as many bundles as you want, however big you want your book. I'm using 9 bundles of 3, so that seemed to be the easiest amount for me. Next, you're going to take your plastic tray and put some tea inside of it. This works best when the tea is hot for tea dyeing things. In this particular video, I am using a dragon roasted jasmine tea to tea dye my pages. You guys can use whatever tea you want. It can be normal tea, it can be black tea, green tea, it can be whatever you want. So after that, put your pages in there and try and fit as many in there as you possibly can, and leave the pages in for 10 to 15 minutes to tea dry, or as long as you want to get a darker color. You could even use coffee to get an even darker color on your pages. It all depends on what look you're going for. So once the pages have tea dyed for as long as you wanted them to, go ahead and take them out and lay them on the rags that we got so they can start the drying process. And be wary when you take the pages out of the tea to not let the little droplets get on anything that could possibly get stained by the tea, because you don't want to tea dye your mom's nice tablecloth, just saying. So when you have all your pages out and ready to dry, you can let them dry overnight, or you can use a hair dryer to dry them. It dries them a lot faster and kind of gives them a cool wrinkly effect for when you stitch the pages in, but for video purposes it was kind of awesome because, you know, it saves me a lot of time, don't have to wait overnight. But yeah, there you go. When it's all dry, you're going to dry all your pages that way, or overnight, and when they are dry, you're going to assemble them into little bundles of 3 and get ready to stitch them into the fabric that you have chosen for the cover of your book. So yeah, just keep on folding them and putting them together. So then choose your fabric. I'm using a white towel that I cut out to fit the size of my pages, and then you're going to line them up with the book. Make sure that they're evenly spaced so it doesn't get uneven and all messed up in the end. And then you're going to stitch the pages in one by one. And be careful when you're doing this, because sometimes the pages can get out of where you place them. You can probably use clips to keep them in place, but just be extra careful that whenever you stitch something in, before you do so, to make sure it's in the spot that you want it. After that, tie a knot when you're finished with the page, and repeat the process until you have filled your book with as many pages as you want. Again, I used 9 bundles of 3, so that was a pretty good size for me if you guys would like to do that as well. Afterwards, draw on a buttonhole, or a place to stitch the button and a place to cut the hole for the button out, and cut off little extra bits that don't really make sense, and that are flyaways and stuff like that, so you can kind of get it ready to paint it. And after you paint the cover, this is just the base coat, you can add designs after that. Be careful not to paint the inside pages. I kind of got mine a little messy, but that's no big deal. It kind of looks awesome. So after you paint the cover, And after you get everything situated, make sure that you have covered any white spots. And when it's dry, you can go ahead and stitch on the button that you have chosen to match up with the hole, and make sure that the hole that you cut is big enough to fit over the button, because if you don't, it kind of sucks because you have to go back and cut it and paint it again, back and cut it and paint it again. But anyway, after that you can finish decorating it and add whatever designs that you want, symbols or little runes. I used a dragon script on the binding of mine. And if you want, you can even attach a charm and a bookmark to it. This was a gift to me, and I thought it would be awesome to stitch it on this book. In order to stitch it, put a stitch through the inside of the book first, then go through the charm that you would like, and from the outside of the book, go ahead and stitch it back in and repeat the process until you have a confident feeling in the stitching ability. And this is what it looks like when it's done. And it kind of, altogether I would say it took me about a couple hours to make, and now I have little bookmarks with a charm and a little bell. I used this little cage because there's like a Azurite in it, and I also made some other ones if you guys wanted to look at some of the other ones. The possibilities are endless with this. You can really do anything. You can paint whatever you want, use whatever buttons you want, whatever colors you want. You don't have to even tea-dye the pages, or you could burn the edges of all the single pages. You can paint it to look however you want, and yeah, these are just the ones that I've made. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below and let me know. But until next time, stay geeky, cheeky, and freaky, little hatchlings. Blessed be, and bye.